Hey guys, thanks again for joining me. This is the 2022 Beta 300RR. This is video number 4. I want to first of all just thank everybody for watching the first 3 videos. I know those videos were just put together real quick to show you a basic idea and documentation of what happens when you buy the 2022 Beta 300RR, and then obviously some of the things I love about it, what I dislike about it. The irony is I was supposed to show some other videos as far as all the add-ons and fixing the electrical sooner, but unfortunately I caught COVID and the herpesiphylitis got me, and unfortunately with the body aches and the headaches and the lack of breathing, unfortunately I did those videos while I wasn't feeling well. So I was able to, while I was sick, to put some of the add-ons on, and now I got a couple more hours on the beta, and let me tell you, I am really excited. So this video is 2 parts. So this video right here, the one that you're viewing right now, is just kind of the after. There's a few things going on the bike still that I never even put on. Like, for instance, I got a Mako 360 that's going on the bike. There's a new skid plate for the bike. I just haven't put them on. And unfortunately, I can't ride the bike today. I mean, it's literally like 6 degrees. I did put a couple hours on it the other day. It's been really cold. It kind of sucks. You got to ride the thing with like winter gloves on, but it is what it is. And it will warm up. And finally, there's no snow on the ground, which is fantastic. But technically I can't ride. I just had to order a tubeless kit system, which was on back order a couple months ago. There is currently a nail in my tire, which is fantastic. I didn't really expect that to happen. First time I ever got a nail on a dirt bike. But at the end of the day, let me go over some of the things that I did. This is kind of like a after video before the video. So after I show you all the items, I'll go into the details on what I actually did to fix the bike and how I put the stuff on. So, as you can see, I put the rear disc guard on, the basic shark fin. We did the frame guards. We ended up doing the engine covers. I finally got the Seat Concept seat cover on there with the Guts foam, which is a nice blend. It works fantastic. I got the actual valve in there for the fuel valve, for the vent. Got these Motos Radiator Guards. These things are sweet. I mean, for the price, you can't beat these. I mean, they were literally $120. I got them in like 9 days from Turkey. They shipped them really well. They're coated, they're powder coated, and they're full coverage too. I mean, they literally go on the backside. It's a full radiator guard. It's really nice. I mean, for $120, I don't think you can really go wrong. And they even give you the fan location. So, I mean, you could screw the fan in. So I got 4 4mm bolts. I already got the new fan for it. And I'm just going to add that on. I got the engine guard there. I had to mod it for the Enduro Engineering slave cylinder, which is actually in the other video as well. Got the new pegs on. I wasn't sure how I was going to like these particular pegs on this particular bike, but I did lower them. I am 6'2", so I wanted them a little lower. These are actually, you can set these in 2 different heights. The kickstand, love it. It's works really well. It's flawless. And the new guard, I wanted something that would deflect rocks in the front. And yeah, this works pretty good. It's also got a shoe guard. This is the other thing I liked about it too. And it worked really well. I had to mod it to fit this. It wasn't a direct fit as it was applied, but it works. And also got the P3, pipe guard, which works out really good. And I've already modified the forks. I put the Acerbi hand guards on. I really like these. The plastic, these ricochet off of trees real easy. I love having the plastic on the outer edges. There is better guards out there, but honestly, for $68, these things are strong. They're durable. They clear the clutch line. They clear the brake line over here. They work really well. I can still get to all my adjustments. I can still adjust my compression on my front forks, and they work really well. I even removed the directional switch. A little fun fact, it's just a little tiny Phillips screw. You literally pull the screw out, the whole switch slides out, just unloom it, and just unplugs from the front. Easy peasy. And now, I got a lot more room over here, which I'll be adding a thumb brake real soon. But at the end of the day, I was able to modify the radiators and the guards, and now my turning is amazing. After the last couple of rides and navigating through some tight trees, it works great. So everything is going right to plan. I want to thank everybody for all the likes and subscriptions. I mean, I really do appreciate that. I had no idea it would get that many views. So I really do appreciate it. Unfortunately, the video quality wasn't the best at the time. I wasn't feeling well. I'm doing the best I can with it. And, I had a few people also ask too, like, hey, why are you at your basement? I have a full production shop. But people don't realize that when you're at the shop, you don't have time to work on your own stuff. You're so busy with everybody else and dealing with salespeople and representatives and shipping and receiving and just servicing bikes and cars and dealing with electrical diagnostics. And I need to be focused on that. It's really tough to film a video in that aspect. The other thing is, when I did this video, this whole documentary, this is a start right from the beginning, from the purchase of the bike all the way to adding it. And I'm going to get into a lot of adjustments on this bike. What I plan on doing to this bike is going to be insane. I really cannot wait to push this machine beyond its limits, or at least beyond my limits. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, that's what I really wanted to do. And the only way I could do that is to start right from the beginning. I mean, the bike is really clean. The funny thing is, it'll never look like this ever again. You know, it's been snowing and the ground is hard as a rock. So we're not in any mud at the moment. That's why the bike is so clean. It's not that I keep it really clean. But we'll see what happens once the spring sets in and the ground gets a little muddy. But my goal was, I wanted to show everybody you could do this at home. I mean, if I showed you this at my professional shop and you see my Snap-on tools and you see how big the shop is and you see all the bikes there, and you could just think, oh, well, he's got all the tools, he's got everything there to do it. I did this with regular house tools here at the house, in my basement, with my retro carpet, you know, hanging out with my cats and my son. And we just kind of tooled around with the bike. And that's what the video was pretty much about, that anybody could do this stuff, which is awesome. So I'm going to, without any hesitation, let's continue in with the other video. There will be some more production B-roll type stuff. Unfortunately, because of the weather and catching COVID, it was really tough to actually add that in. So I don't want you to think that these are just some cheesy POV videos. But at the end of the day, we will add in a little more content that's a little more with the riding and so forth. We have videos for that, but the unfortunate thing is the weather and being sick, it didn't really work in my favor. So I do appreciate your patience on that. So I'm sure you're probably like, why does he just keep on showing the bike? But at the end of the day, my showcase was to just showcase the bike. It has nothing to do with me personally. So in the future, we'll showcase riding, and then when we make adjustments and how it changes the dynamics of the bikes and hopefully affects you with your riding, and you can help with troubleshooting and you can make the bike better and stronger for you and for your needs. All right, well, thank you very much. I'm going to move on to the next video, and that way you can see the detail. Now, the other videos, let me tell you, are going to show, there'll be a couple little add-on videos that won't be clipped to this, but I will show how to modify the radiators and how to modify the steering. Those will be added on too. The next one will just be the basic electrical, dielectric, and a couple things I've already showed you on the bike, so hopefully it's not redundant. If it is, just skip through it. I do apologize that it's not in a good, you know, logical order, but it will. But I just want to complete the series because there's more stuff I got to do to it. Now I got to take the rear tire off and throw a tubeless system in it. Just wasn't expecting that with the nail. I might just put the factory tube back in it just to get a few more hours of riding in it, then put the tubeless system in it. But we'll see. And I'm going to put the Mako 360 on it. Now that I've put, you know, about 8 hours, 9 hours on the bike, I want to see how that Mako 360 is on this bike. The bike doesn't vibrate that much to begin with. You could feel it. It's noticeable, but it's not crazy. I want to see if that makes a big difference. Plus, we have a little trick for the handlebars as well, too, that we do on some of the other race bikes. So let me continue on to the next video. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and joining me with video number 4. So the beta is apart. And as promised, we were going to go into some detail about the electrical, some brief descriptions, a couple of things I got to admit about the electrical that weren't as bad as I actually thought they were. And some of the upgrades that I've already done. If you're looking at the bike now, you probably already noticed I did the Serbi engine guard. I had to modify it just a touch, you know, for the Enduro Engineering slave guard. Also did the side protection, did the new kickstand, added the new pegs. Haven't put the sprocket on yet, but it's in the works. Started to put the guard on with the radiator mod. Been doing some work, did a lot of dielectric grease. I wanted to go into the main purpose of why we're working on this electrical. If I can just prop you up right here. This right here was the main issue. As you can see, the harness goes right along the radiator up towards the handlebars and the triple trees. And what happens is there's zip ties. And I'm sure all the bikes are different because obviously it's personal. It's not like it's machined with the harness. They just put some zip ties here. There's a bunch of plugs all grouped together and they all sit up in the triangle. Well, this one was zip tied really tight, along with the other two that I worked on. And when you turn the handlebars, you'll see the harness tighten and get tight, and it will pivot itself where the power valve vent there's a little plastic vent that vents into the frame, and you'll see it's pinched between there and the radiator. And this is where all the tension is. That's where you could hear all the noise in the previous videos, and you could see what it does. Now, the zip ties have all been cut so I could dielectric the harness. But as you can see, the quick fix for that would be just to go in, pop this hose off, reroute this. Now the gas tank's going to run like so. You can see there's the mount for the gas tank. So the gas tank's going to run like this, but all we need to do is pull that harness away, plug back in the power valve vent, tuck that there, align the harness properly. And if you do modify the steering, I highly recommend you do this all at the same time. So I do recommend, which is what I'm going to do before I actually zip tie the harness down, is I'm going to be putting the other radiator guard on, and I'm going to turn the wheel all the way, since the left side has already been modified for the steering stops. And then you'll have all that room right there. And then when you go to turn the wheel, this will just kind of hit the gas tank, but it won't pull. There's no more pulling. There's no more tension. And that's what we're looking for. So if you can create that and then zip tie this properly and then trial and error. The other thing is too, is the other bikes that I worked on that had the electrical issues did not have this gas tank isolation pad. So it appears to act more like a spacer and to probably, isolate vibration. I'm not sure if the plastic wore through on the gas tank, or, I don't know if it was chafing out the paint. I'm not 100% sure, but it wasn't on the other machines. I was quite surprised. And, the thing I had to admit too is a lot of the electrical isn't that bad, actually. So if we were to take that apart, a lot of the engine harnesses do have the weather packs that I described, and they are sealed in the back pot. So I put dielectric grease in anyways. I do that all the time, and especially on the cars and anything else that comes to the shop. So, and all these other ones, these are all open right here. So they all have dielectric grease in there. That way it'll prevent water intrusion. And even this is a little open right here. This is the mode switch. And that's all been filled in the backside. Also, bring you over here, you got the ground. The paint from the frame was ground off when I took this off. I didn't do it. They did it in manufacturing, or Beta did. They did a good job. Most times the frame is painted, and they bolted a ground to a painted surface, which obviously is non-conductive. This was already cleaned up. I was worried about that, but I took it off, and then I put dielectric grease around it so it doesn't create any electrolysis. And I did make a mistake with this. This wire right here is actually to your rear brake. I thought that was the TPS wire originally, because I believe it's routed like that on the older one that I worked on, but that's not. That's the rear brake sensor lead that goes to the top of the master cylinder down here. So the TPS is actually, it's right here, and it's sealed. It's got bullet connectors in the back. It's actually got the seal inside the plug, and it's already been dielectric greased. And then also you got your starter relay. I got the grease on it. I got it all around the seams, all the open wires, both the battery terminals. They have their dielectric grease on there as well. And so far I've been able to hit off all the connectors. Right here you can see a good view of the engine cover. I wanted that little extra protection. And another tech tip too, if I may. The brake, especially if you keep the factory brake lever, it's a decent lever. I have no issues with it just yet. I mean, I'd like to get something that's a little wider tip, but if you can, grind off the knurls that are close to the cover. This is really common on a lot of machines, that once you hit a rock and you bend the lever, it goes right into the case. And if you have two piercing pieces of metal, you best just pull the tip off, grind off the 2 points. Your foot can't reach over there anyways. A little better extra protection. At least it'll glide over the cover instead of stabbing it and puncturing it. Just a little tech tip. You can see I put the frame guards on there. I did put the rear disc brake guard on. That's a cheap, I say it's cheap. It's actually very well made. That's one of those nice CNC rear disc guards. It took 10 minutes to fit on there. Also, the caliper, they did grease the sliding pins. Then they did use lithium grease, but I usually like the right grease, and it works a lot better. Actually, you can feel it. It's floating a lot better already, even though the brakes worked stellar. You know, and I did get the kickstand on. I got the cover on there, the pegs. So we're in process. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the radiator guard on the other side right now. And I'm going to modify the steering stop for that side too, and the radiator as well. And then I'm just going to zip tie my electrical and start putting everything together. There's also another view of inline fuel filter. Highly recommend. And I did the vent. This is a Moose vent. It's a one-way valve, so fumes could vent out, but the gas won't puke out. So works really, really well. There's other versions of this. This is just the cut in line from Moose Racing. Works really well. Been using them for years.